Mike Keenan's Blackhawks are clicking. Detroit is known as the Motor City, a town where they put on the hits. Chicago may be the Windy City, but so far it's the Blackhawks who are breezing. This has been a series of bumps and bruises. And when Detroit's Bob Probert has tried to bait the Blackhawks, they simply turn the other cheek. There's been some jousting. There's been some wrestling. But it's the Chicago Blackhawks so far who have done a majority of the scoring. It's game number 3 of the Norris Division Final tonight from Chicago Stadium on Sports Channel America.
Game 3 between the Blackhawks and the Red Wings. Well, this crowd is ready. Are the Blackhawks ready? Tim Chevalier, the workhorse. 17th appearance lifetime in the playoffs. 3-5 with a very respectable 2.38 goals against average. Red Wings has just not been scoring, but the defense has been quite good, and Ed Belfour's turned everything around in the playoffs. 6-1 and a 2.41 goals against average. So he's been outstanding, and he's going to have to be good early in this game. I'm sure the Red Wings will try to set the tone early.
Referee tonight is Andy Van Helleman, the linesman, Ron Finn and Ray Scampanello, and here we go with game 3. As Chelio stands behind his own net, beating Steve Smith. These two have been just brilliant. As the Wings only have one forechecker in, they pull back 4 men, playing a conservative start, and the Hawks have to dump it in. Now back to the Red Wing goal. It's clear to the right wing boards. LaPointe for Yzerman, putting it over the line. And then it's clear to the side of the net. Belfour goes down. To cover it there is Yves Racine catching the play. Tried to center, but put it right to Belfour instead.
Martin LaPointe, first-round pick last year of the Red Wings, played with the Canadian junior Olympic or junior team, and he starts on the right side. Mike Keenan, second most experienced coach in the playoffs this year behind Scotty Bowman. And Brian Murray has never gotten past the second round in his excellent coaching career with Washington and now with Detroit. He's really done a marvelous job in turning the Red Wing franchise around in the last couple of years.
Now the draw in the Hawk zone. Steve Smith looking to clear. Kevin Miller tried to keep it in. Then it is shot back into the Red Wing zone, and it's going to be an icing call here against the Blackhawks. Jocelyn Lemieux tied for the NHL lead in playoff game-winning goals. He, Mario Lemieux, and Adam Oates each have 2 game winners.
Well, we talked about Lemieux before the strike. He played his best hockey. He was handling the puck with confidence. He had scored some goals and really didn't look forward to having the time off, but it hasn't affected him. He's played marvelously in both playoff series.
Burr and Steve Smith have difficulty lining up for this draw, which will be to the right of Belfour. Now Sutter and Fedorov, and Sutter got the draw to Smith. Steve Smith's pass nearly picked off, then Graham got there and feeds Sutter, dumping it in. Here's Lemieux racing, couldn't get to it. It'll be another icing call against the Blackhawks, and that time the Red Wings with good coverage, as Lemieux was racing up the right side, but he was interfered with, as the Detroit player should have done.
Well, in game 1 especially, Brian Murray was upset with that type of play, and from his players, they weren't getting in the way. They weren't getting their sticks into the midsection. They weren't holding up, allowing their defense time to get the puck out of their own zone. And Miller did it perfectly there, as Lemieux had a step on him originally. Then Sutter tried to dump in on the far corner boards, but Lemieux was held up by Miller.
Now to the left of Belfour. Here's the draw to the wings. Konstantinov, his shot didn't get through, and out come the Blackhawks. Lemieux racing up right wing in on Marsh, and then Fedorov poke checked him from behind. Brad Marsh feeding for Sean Burr. It didn't click. Sliding to length, and another whistle. A bunch of whistles there in the first 66 seconds of this game.
Brad Marsh, a lot of experience, played for Mike Keenan in Philadelphia and had a real major head injury, and still does not wear the helmet after whacked in the head, getting a partial skull fracture in Philadelphia, and then went to Toronto, and then was acquired by Detroit.
Even with that injury, it has not kept him from being one of the premier shot blockers in the league. He may be better than almost anybody at that particular situation. Brad Marsh in his 97th Stanley Cup playoff game here tonight. This is the 13th year that he's appeared in the playoffs. Face off to the left of Tim Chevelday, and Roenick got the draw to Larmer, who shoots one. It didn't get through. Lapointe blocked it, and now Lapointe ran into Larmer, who keeps it in. Steve Larmer on the near side. He battles it loose, trying to center it. Deflected away from Mateau to Roenick. Roenick right up on the boards, got away from Chason, then was poke checked by Yzerman. And the Detroit captain Yzerman clears the center where Gallant had his pass stolen. And Kravchuk back into the Red Wing zone. Shot it into the far corner. Roenick chasing for it. Tries to center. It came to Larmer, top of the ring. Steve Larmer into the corner, and Roenick moves it to the line. Kravchuk a one-timer. That's blocked in front of the net by Yves Racine. And the Wings able to clear it back into Chicago territory. Mateau shot it into the Red Wing zone. Here's Hudson racing, but Chevelday beat him to it, banging it to the near side. And Chason able to send it back the other way. Ryan Marchment on it for Chicago. Marchment clearing it out to center ice. Now Bob Probert. He's drawn the ire of the Hawk fans, rolled it into the slot, and it's cleared away to Noonan. Ryan Noonan works his way to center ice and failed to get it in there deep. And the Wings with a two-line pass to Jimmy Carson.
Bob Probert only had 8 minutes in penalties in the first playoff series in 7 games, and no major penalties. And the way he went at his butt, he was the best Red Wing forward in game 1, and then in game 2 took some poor penalties. And he has had 10 minutes in penalties in this series already, and 18 in the playoffs in the 9 previous games. But he said he only had 8 and 7 games against the North Stars. He's been very active in that regard in the first 2 games, and very easily could have a few more penalties, but he is a very solid player. Besides being one of the toughest guys in the history of the game, he can play. He's got good hands and good skills.
37 points in 47 playoff games for Probert. We'll back that up. Here comes Constantino. He shoots it into the Hawk zone. Around to the far side where a man's knocked down on top of the puck. Then Primo put it with the glove to the corner. Dillinger lost it to Lauer. Brad Lauer moves back into the neutral zone. Carries it over the line. Put it to Roenick. Weaving to his backhand. Then centered. Oh, Peluso all alone in front of the net. Couldn't find the handle. Now he does. He shoots. Big save by Chevelday. And the first great chance of the game thwarted by the Red Wing netminder. Here's Sillinger. Dumping it into the Hawk zone. Chelios there. Chris Chelios for Steve Smith on the near side. Pushing it up the boards to Roenick. Jeremy Roenick motors to the neutral zone with a long shot that Marsh got in the way of. And now Potvin starts the Red Wings back. Cleared it to Keith Primo. Primo works his way over the Hawk line. Then center one. Sillinger with a wrist shot deflecting wide. Primo knocked down in the corner. Lemieux there to play the puck. Jocelyn Lemieux works his way to the Red Wing line. He got taken off the play with a good hit from Racine along the board. Then Graham crashing in behind the net. Jammed it loose to Sutter. Leaving for Lemieux near corner. Jocelyn Lemieux well covered by Burr. Now gets some help from Graham. He rolls it back in behind the net. And Racine for Detroit able to clear it back the other way. And it's going to be an icing call against the Red Wings. With 4 minutes having gone by in a scoreless first period here in game 3.
Best save of the night by Chevelday. Jeremy Roenick gets a pass, goes to the backhand, slips it across, and Peluso failed to click and then stays in front of the net. The carom to Chelios. It deflects off a skate. Quick hand shown by Peluso, and Chevelday with a good move to his right to keep it a 0-0 game. Meanwhile, Lemieux trying to get through the defenseman Racine. Lemieux wins that battle and keeps going forward. Good forechecking employed by Graham, Lemieux, and Sutter in that last shift.
Roenick and Yzerman to the left, and Chevelday. For the most part this year, Roenick has been paired up against Sergei Fedorov. Tonight, Mike Keenan with the last change. Has him working against Yzerman here. Here's Mateau behind the net. Stefan Matteau works against McCrimmon. And then the Red Wings, Lidstrom able to take it away to Gallant. He gave it away to Roenick. Roenick's pass deflecting, and Gallant able to get it back. Gerard Gallant sending it into the Hawk zone. LaPointe into the near corner, jammed it loose. Gallant tried to center, picked off by Roenick in front of the Hawk net. Gallant on the near side to the line. McCrimmon put it back around the boards. LaPointe got it to the far corner. Yzerman against Keith Brown there. And Brown had in well covered. The Blackhawks able to jam it loose. Stefan Matteau will send it into the Red Wing zone as the Hawks need a change. And Nicholas Lidstrom on it for Detroit. Lidstrom back to center ice. Able to get it in there deep, and Cam Russell and got it back the other way. Doubleday put it around the boards, and Bob Probert that helped. We clear it to center, and Marchment dumps it back in there. Here's McCrimmon behind the net, the most experienced postseason player for Detroit, Brad McCrimmon, in his 115th postseason game here tonight. Now McCrimmon puts it around the boards, out to center. Ray Shepard, 3 against 4 as he crosses the line. Shepard then had it poke checked away, and Hudson had his pass deflect, but Marchment able to gather it in for the Blackhawks. He safely sends it back the other way, and it's going to be an icing call against Chicago. Well, Dale, we mentioned the conservative start by the Red Wings, and they're getting what they want here. We've played about 6 minutes, and the crowd starting to buzz a little bit. They'd like to see a little bit more action, but the Blackhawks, I don't imagine, are that concerned.
Not concerned at all. The longer it stays close, the more nervous the Red Wings will become. I think they need to win. They need to get goals. They need to get a lead. And so far, they're just playing very conservative style, backing off, waiting for a break. And the Hawks are playing it smartly as well. And both teams are not willing to mix it up that much to get penalties. And the Red Wings have played that way the first 2 games, taking poor penalties. They're very thoughtful of that tonight, and you can see it's maybe affecting their aggressiveness.
In the first 6 minutes of the game, only 1 shot on goal. That was a great scoring chance for Mike Peluso, but that's it. That's the only shot on target so far tonight.
If I'm Chicago, I want it like this. I'll take my chances in a close game.
There's Peluso taking a big run at Racine. Got a good piece of him, but Sillinger comes out. Gets over the Hawk line. Chelios stopped him beautifully. And now the Wings will dump it back in. Brad Lauer failed to get it out. Racine sends it back up the boards. Lauer picked that off. And then Peluso rolls it back into the Detroit zone. Primo took a run at Peluso, and it was the Red Wing that wound up on the seat of his pants. Potvin clearing to center. Chelios broke it up to Lemieux over the line. Lemieux on the near side takes a look. Now the shot sailing wide. Steve Smith scurries to keep it in. His long centering pass deflecting to Graham. Graham had to put it into the corner. Mike Hudson bodied there by Chason, and Burr takes it away. Ron Burr sends it to the center ice area, and Smith moves it right back into the Red Wing zone. Sergei Fedorov, right wing to Kevin Miller. Now Burr. John Burr to the Hawk line. Cut off by Kravchuk, but Fedorov kept it in. Bounced one to the far corner. Burr chopped it in behind the net. Miller. Here's the wraparound, and a save by Belfour. Rebound to Roenick. And Jeremy Roenick ran into traffic behind the Hawk net. And now a stick came up and clipped him. Roenick shaken up by a Sean Burr stick. And Andy Van Halen seemed to be looking in that direction, but says play on. And that's what the players will do as the Red Wings look to come out of their own end. Lidstrom got it to center. Fedorov crossing the line. Fedorov into the near corner against Kravchuk. He turns quickly. Fedorov threw it across. And Lidstrom couldn't find the bouncing puck. Now on the near side. Puck is cleared back to center ice. Jeremy Roenick racing over the Red Wing line. Moves into the slot. Now the drive. He scores! Jeremy Roenick allowed to walk right into the middle of the ice and fired a wrist shot that Chevrolet got a piece of, but not enough. 1-0 Hawks.
The bad news for Detroit. Roenick gets clipped and cut in the mouth. That's always been a positive sign. Featherstone in St. Louis a few years ago, and Roenick came back to win the game. He gets clipped in the mouth in the series last game against St. Louis. He plays brilliantly, and right here he gets clipped at one end, takes the puck up, and makes a beautiful rush off balance, beats Chevrolet high to the stick side. A marvelous individual effort by Jeremy Roenick, and he's gone over to the Andy Van Halen. He's looking at him, and to see the damage done, he's cut again. He picked it up on the far side, in front of the near side, in front of the penalty box. Got around one guy, faked the pass to Matteau. The defenseman went down McCrimmon. He couldn't get back up, and then he flipped it through the blocker and in. And the Blackhawks have a 1-0 lead. Meanwhile, at the other end, he got high stick, and he was numbed and taken aback by it. But that was an intentional whack by the Red Wings, who got away with it.
6 playoff goals for Jeremy Roenick. This is the 9th game of the postseason for Chicago. Here they come again. Sutter over the Red Wing line. Got it in behind the goal. Now on the far point, Chelios holds it in. His shot deflecting. Here's Graham. He scores! Dirk Graham got a very fortunate bounce. Chelios' shot was blocked. It went right to a wide open Graham. Bang! 2-0 Hawks.
2 goals in 30 seconds. Good pass from Steve Smith across ice to Sutter. He carried it in, dumped it off the corner boards. The puck came out to Chelios. Chelios shoots. It's slowed up. 2 players running at Chelios out of position. The puck hits a skate, goes to Graham. Chevrolet way out of the net. He's very aggressive in games 1 and 2, coming to the top of the crease. Overplays it in an empty net situation for Dirk Graham. And it's 2-0 Blackhawks. 2 goals in 30 seconds. One at 8:01 and this one at 8:31.
So Dirk Graham scores his 2nd playoff goal. 2.5 minutes for the Hawks. And here's Probert getting the elbow up on Marchment. He's going to get a penalty as the Wings are losing it again. And now Gilbert in the Red Wing zone. Clears it inadvertently outside the line. 6 skaters for Chicago with this delayed penalty coming to Detroit. Roenick retreating all the way into his own end. Now trying to wind it up. He comes racing to center. Roenick has the line. Dropped it to the far side. A long shot. And Chevrolet just got a piece of that. It didn't seem like he knew where it was until it was right on him. And Bob Probert will head to the sin bin again. Nearing the halfway point of the first period. It's 2-0 Chicago.
Well, thank you very much for joining us. I appreciate it. Now let's go back upstairs to Pat and Dale.
And Bob Probert gets 4 for elbowing. Once on Marchment and once on Russell on the near side. Double minor penalty for elbowing at 9:06. And Bob Probert is, I think, a little upset with the situation. 2 elbowing penalties in the same shift. And the Blackhawks, with a 2-goal lead, now have a wonderful opportunity to put the Red Wings away.
All these cameras we have in Chicago Stadium, you don't miss a thing. The reverse angle of the scoreboard angle, the end of the rink angle, every penalty, everything that happens off the puck, we've been on it. And now the Blackhawks head to a 4-minute power play with a face-off to the left of Tim Chevrolet. Here's the draw. And the Wings, Sean Burr able to get control, clearing to center ice. Fedorov lost the handle there. Now he gets it back. He's going to try to waste a little time. And now clear.
The hot power play is 1 for 15, but you take 1 for 15 when you're 2-0 and you're up 2-0 in the game, 3rd game.
Now here's Roenick getting a rough ride along the boards from Burr. But Brent Sutter able to pick it up. Now Kravchuk. Igor Kravchuk tees up a long shot sailing wide. And Konstantinov got a hit from Sutter behind the net. Puck came loose to Fedorov. And the Red Wings able to clear to Yzerman. Now ahead for Chason. In on Keith Brown. Chason shoot. He just missed the crossbar with a short-handed blast. And now the Blackhawks, Matteau back to center. Clearing it into the Red Wing zone. Konstantinov failed to get it out. Kravchuk put it in behind the net. Here's Larmer. Out to the line, Chelios. Back to Larmer, top of the ring. The drive and a save by Chevrolet. Rebound. Shot right through the goal crease by Mike Hudson. And the Wings able to pick it up and clear. With 2.5 minutes left on the Chicago power play. Jocelyn Lemieux throws it in there. Chevelday wants to clear it himself. Needs some help though from Sillinger. And a two-line pass made from Sillinger to Yzerman, just barely offside. For the Wings, Yzerman very good at scoring short-handed goals, and he'll be looking to create an opportunity here if at all possible.
Well, the Red Wings had 3 short-handed goals up till this point in the playoffs. I think Yzerman had led the league in that department this year. He was one of the top guys with short-handed goals.
Blackhawks have limited the Red Wings superstar to just 5 shots on net in the first 2 games, and I think 4 of them came in the third period of one game.
This came late in game 2, and he did score a goal and had a couple of other chances.
Amazing. I don't imagine there have been too many teams that would have played the Red Wings 10 times during a season, which the Hawks have done to this point. And 8 of those 10 times held Steve Yzerman off the score sheet completely. Even with that, the Red Wings had a big edge in regular season play, but not so to this point in the playoffs. 2 minutes left now in the Hawk power play. A giveaway to Miller. Shooting. And he shot it upstairs as Chelios made a cross ice pass in his own end that Miller saw coming. Now Smith starts out the Hawk power play. Carries it to the line. McCrimmon ran into him there. Fedorov picks up the loose puck and failed to get it by Smith. Sends it up along the boards. Noonan in there as well. Then it comes loose to the wings. Fedorov. Fedorov gave it to Lidstrom. A weak effort held in by Larmer. Larmer on the far side. Scoops it around the boards. Roenick out to the line, and Smith, his long shot. He hit the outside of the post. Rebound to the far side. Larmer. Steve Larmer put it into the corner. Noonan center one. Here comes Smith up the slot. His drive. And Chevalier got a piece with the right pad. In behind the net, Larmer. Out to the line. Chelios across to Smith. He put it to the near corner. Roenick centered. Just behind Larmer to Chelios. His drive. And he shot it wide. Held in by Smith. Deep slot to Chelios. Under a minute for the Hawk power play. Smith near ring to Roenick. Roenick takes a look. His shot deflected wide by McCrimmon. Chelios then keeping it in. Feathers it to Smith. His wrist shot didn't get there. Back of the net it goes, and now Noonan looks for help from Roenick. And McCrimmon took it away, but gave it away to Noonan. A shot is saved by Chevalier. Finally, the Red Wings able to clear it down the length. One more power play rush here for Chicago. Here's Sutter. His pass, an errant one in the wings. Able to clear it back to center ice. Now Konstantinov. He's up a long shot. That hit Kravchuk on the way. And now Kravchuk. As the Detroit penalty expires, both teams now are back at full strength. Well, the Red Wings have gotten through a 4-minute Chicago power play. And now in the neutral zone, here comes Graham up right wing over the line. Racine picked his pocket. And Yves Racine darts it ahead, but he hit the foot of Lapointe with the lead. Now Kravchuk sandwiched in the corner by Lapointe and Burr. Burr dug it out, a shot and a save by Belfour. The first good chance for Detroit was Steve Yzerman right on the doorstep. And Ed Belfour with a big pushing and shoving after the. Very quickly, we're down to 6.5. 2-0, Chicago.
Four-minute penalty to Probert. They get back into the offensive zone. 2-1 hitting situation. Forechecking. Sean Burr gets the puck out front. No other than Steve Yzerman, and a brilliant save by Ed Belfour, his first tough save of the game. Only the second shot on goal by Detroit. And we have 6.5 minutes left in the first period.
Face-off will be to the left of the Hawk goal. Hudson and Yzerman get ready. And Hudson got the draw to Chelios. He feeds Noonan on right wing. Now here comes Smith. Steve Smith scoops it ahead. Chason picked it off. A quick outlet to Lapointe over the Hawk line. Martin Lapointe went down as he tried to get away from Chelios. Nothing doing there, and Hudson starts Chicago back. Whipped it into the Red Wing zone. Chason Gave it away to Noonan for Hudson all alone. He shoots. Big save, Chevelday. What a great save by Tim Chevelday. Hudson had all kinds of time right on the doorstep. And Chevelday keeps the Red Wings within a pair. Chelios. Got it to center and Larmer. Larmer wrapped up along the board, still able to get it in there. Now Shepard looks for Chason in his own end. He clears it back the other way. And Cam Russell will put the touch on it for an icing call against Detroit. And we're getting to the late part of the opening period. The Hawks continued on.
Tim Chevelday keeps it a 2-0 Blackhawk lead with a brilliant save on Mike Hudson after the Red Wings vacated their own net.
Now the draw in the Red Wing zone. Vladimir Konstantinov flips it up the middle, too far for Sillinger. Here's Marchment. Throwing it back into the Detroit zone. Chevelday puts it around the boards, and Bob Probert couldn't find it, and Roenick stole it, trying from a toe. It deflected behind him, however, and Jimmy Carson for the Wings puts Probert over the line, back to Carson, kicks it to the stick, stopping, shooting. He shot it wide. Shepard then centered. Probert had it knocked away by Marchment. Ever just cross-checked Marchment, and Van Halen saw him. Another Probert penalty is coming up, and the Blackhawks will head to their third power play of the game, all created by Bob Probert. Being overeager, he's going to get more. He went and argued with Van Halen, who will tack on more penalty time. Blackhawks with more power play opportunities here. They lead 2-0.
Bob Probert is second double minor. 8 minutes in penalties in this game. All of them have gone to Bob Probert. He cross-checks Brian Marchment right in the small of the back from behind in the offensive zone right in front of Van Hellemond. Then goes and argues the call and gets another minor penalty for unsportsmanlike conduct. 8 minutes in penalties. The Blackhawks didn't score on their first 2 power plays. Now they need to finish off a little bit better. They did have their chances on the second half of that 4-minute power play. Now they need to really bear down.
Sutter, Larmer, and Roenick on for the Hawks with Chelios and Smith, and now Smith at the near point. Up the boards to Roenick. Roenick top of the ring side of the net to Sutter, trying to go across the slot with a Chason down early, preventing that, and the puck underneath. Steve Chason, who's been the best Red Wing defenseman all year long.
And in the playoffs as well. He and Racine have probably been their top 2 defensemen. Racine has been prone to turnovers, but that was a good play by Chason as Sutter was thinking about passing. I think he was trying to shoot it under Chason. If it gets by Chason, it would have been a very difficult save for Chevelday.
Fedorov and Burr out there with the Chason and Konstantinov for Detroit's penalty killing team. And now here's Steve Smith in his own end. Gave it to Chelios. Now Roenick moves it ahead to Larmer. He gets the line, leaving for Roenick. Cuts in 3-on-2. Side of the net to Larmer. Moving in behind with it. Now Roenick in behind the goal. Didn't see where the puck was. It was at his feet. He kicks at it to Larmer. Bringing it around the boards. Here's Chelios. Or Larmer far side. Tees it upside of the net to Sutter. Takes a look. Moves it back to Larmer. Now Chelios. Returns it to Larmer, top of the ring. Larmer. Back to Chelios, near circle to Smith. Smith trying to center, picked off by Chason, but he couldn't get it past Chelios. Top of the ring to Smith. Back to the line, Chelios, his long shot, tip, and a save by Chevelday. Rebound to the near corner. Sutter got a big hit there from Konstantinov. Now Fedorov jammed it loose to Burr. Wings try to counter. Burr puts Fedorov over the Hawk line, weaving into the middle, shooting, and Chelios got back defensively to get the shot blocked. 2.5 left on the Hawk power play. 2-0 in favor of Chicago. Into the Red Wing zone. Lidstrom surrounded behind the net. Now Hudson takes it away. Mike Hudson looks for Noonan in the corner. Poked off his stick. Keith Brown kept it in. But then it is cleared. Finally back to the neutral area. And the Red Wings McCrimmon flipped it to the Hawk line. Now Hudson. There's poke checked at center. Mike Sillinger sends it back behind the Chicago goal. 3 minutes left in the opening period. 2-0 in favor of the Hawks. And there's 2 minutes now remaining on a Hawk power play. Up into the Detroit zone. Shovelday gave it away. Here's Hudson, far corner. Centered one. Gilbert couldn't get to it. Deflecting to Eisenman. He failed to get it out. Now McCrimmon has a chance. And he couldn't get it by Gilbert. Gilbert side of the net to Noonan. Ryan Noonan returns it to Gilbert, whose pass came to Brown. He shoots one and a save by Shovelday. Rebound Miller clearing. Heath Brown sets up in his own end. Now the Hawks start away. Smith on feed to Graham at center. And forced to turn, and I believe we have an offside violation anyway. It's 2-0 in favor of the Blackhawks.
Very surprised at the Red Wings style. 1 forechecker, 2 wingers back with the 2 defensemen, a 1-2-2 situation. And really not putting any pressure on the Blackhawks at all in this period.
Roenick racing over the line, looks for Larmer. To the backhand, forced to turn, dropped it to Chelios. Now Smith near point. Steve Smith goes through the box with it, but it's picked off by Racine. Quick outlet to center. Here comes Miller over the line. Miller on right wing, feathered one in front. Racine, a shot, and a save by Belfour. Good chance for Detroit. Now the Hawks with a quick counterattack. Sutter got away from Miller, gets the line. Dropped it to Roenick. Moving it in behind the net. Sutter has it there. Now Smith at the near point, across for Chelios. To Smith in the deep slot. Here it comes, and he shot it just wide. Rebound Roenick, the wraparound didn't complete it. Racine got the block. Out to the line, and Smith. He tries again. Shovelday gave a rebound. Sutter took a whack at it, and Shovelday stopped the Graham backhander, and he covers it up. 64 seconds left in the first. Hawks lead the series.
Shovelday stacking the pads, laying in front of the goal crease, preventing Dirk Graham's backhand rebound attempt from going in.
Face off in the Red Wing zone, taken by Lemieux.
1 minute to play in the period.
He's tied up on the boards, and then Brown held it in to Lemieux, who shot his block. And Burr clears it down as the Detroit penalty expires. And now both teams are back at full strength. 45 seconds left in the period. Graham got bumped in his own end, held in by Eiserman. And he had no room to work. Kravchuk got to him in a hurry. Heath Brown around the boards to Dirk Graham. On feed to Gilbert up over his stick at center. Sliding the length. And the Wings will touch up for an icing call. And Dale, 3 shots on goal for Detroit. But Bob Probert has made the play almost half of this period short-handed.
That's true. Bad penalties. Probert was their best player in game 1. Took some bad penalties in game 2. And I guess the statistics pretty well tell the story here in game 3. 2 double minor penalties to Bob Probert. Those were the only penalties of the period. That really puts the Red Wings back on their heels. It tires out their penalty killing players. 8 minutes of penalty killing. Those are the players that you utilize a lot in offensive chances on power plays. Hawks having a chance to really put the Red Wings away. Now they'll have to kill a few penalties of their own as this game wears on.
Another icing call whistled here against the Blackhawks with 17 seconds remaining in the opening period. And a fellow who was thought by a lot of folks to have a lock on the Rookie of the Year award may have let it slip away with a bit of a tailspin down the stretch, but Nicholas Lidstrom certainly showed well in his first full NHL season. I think the grind is eventually what got to him a little bit.
We thought the strike would have helped with the 7-game series against Minnesota, and now this tough series against the Blackhawks. A lot more games than he's used to playing. Traveling, etc. Adjustment to this way of life. He's a quality player, but I think the finish of Amante and Bure really hurts his chances as far as winning the Rookie of the Year. In the first half, he was a shooter.
A lot of offense out there now for Brian Murray. He's got Eiserman and Fedorov out with Shepard and Racine and Lidstrom, the defenseman. The draw cleared in behind the Hawk net. Chelios has it there. The Red Wings will run out of time, and a dandy first period is completed by the home team, and they get saluted from their loyal fans as they head off after scoring 2 unanswered goals. in the opening period here tonight, helped immensely by 2 double minor penalties taken by Bob Probert, and as we said, he made their Red Wing team play almost half of that period short-handed. Let's go downstairs and hear from Darren Pang.
To start the forecheck and put some pressure on the Blackhawks, so now they have to be able to weather the storm for a while and frustrate the Red Wings that way.
Here we go with the second period as the draw is controlled by the Wings. Yzerman or Gallant on the left wing board, trying to move in there on Chelios. Elbowed him in the jaw, but continues on. Center one tipped right to the net. Belfour had the stick in the way of that after it hit LaPointe's foot. Now Graham was stopped at center, taken by Steve Smith. Out to center and Stephane Matteau. He's forced to circle back. And Matteau flipped it into the Red Wing zone. Racine chased by Graham, able to get away from him, and Racine scoops it over the Hawk line. LaPointe dropped it back to Gallant with a shot. Belfour fought it off, but he made that save and then gave no rebound.
He fought it off because it hit a stick and sort of was like an upshot. It was rising as it came to him, and he fought it off, but then pulled it under him very confidently. Belfour. The Red Wings carrying the puck across the line. Backhand feed across by Racine to LaPointe, the rookie. Drops it to Gallant, the veteran, lets it go. Hits the stick of Chelios, rises. And Belfour with the blocker and puts the glove on it.
We've been seeing Ed Belfour at his best here in the postseason, and that is one sign, Dale, it seems to me. He leaves very few rebounds when he's really on his game.
When he's confident and challenging, yes, no rebounds. When he's struggling and fighting it, a lot of rebounds.
Here's the draw. The Hawks. Oh, shot right along the goal line by Sean Burr. Winds up in the far corner. Burr tries to center. Belfour down quickly to smother that. And they'll face it off again in the Chicago zone.
That shot from the goal line extended from the near corner almost went in. Belfour was up against the post, but didn't have his pads angled towards the corner and almost snuck by him and into the far side of the net.
Now the draw to the wings. McCrimmon, whose long shot hit somebody on the way, and the Hawks Lemieux works back into the Red Wing zone. Taken off the puck, Fedorov. Ran into Graham, turnaround, slugged him. Play goes on. That was right in front of Van Hellemond. And he says play on. Certainly 4 Hawk power plays helped that decision. Here's Lindstrom in his own end to Burr. Red Wings have yet to have a power play. The Hawks, we said, have had 4. I think that played a role in Van Hellemond letting that one go. Here's Fedorov over the Hawk line, peeling off to the far board. Got away from Roenick, cuts in, centered one, up over the stick of Miller. And Graham picks it up. Pushed it ahead to Roenick. Roenick crossing the line just offside, though, was Matteau. And the whistle sounds. And Dirk Graham having a word with Van Hellemond in disbelief that he did not blow the whistle after Fedorov gave him a face full of gloves.
I think in a matter of the 4 straight power plays and a 2-0 lead might have made up Van Hellemond's mind there, but clearly right in front of him. Fedorov taken down. Graham's on one knee and bang, he punches him right in the face. Oh, this is a frustrated Red Wing team. Fedorov, every time I see him go to the bench, he's breathing rather heavily, and he has not shown the explosive speed in this series up till now.
Brad Marsh got some help from Konstantinov, who shoots it in. Belfour to the far side and Gilbert. Now to center and Hudson. He motors in over the line. Kravchuk catching the play. Hudson takes a look for Kravchuk, but it deflects to the far side. Kravchuk is there to Brown. Keith Brown's shot is blocked. And Probert comes away for Detroit. Probert over the Hawk line, dropped it back to Carson. His wrist shot and a save by Belfour through a Marsh screen. Rebound in behind the net. Noonan bumped by Probert, but Gilbert takes the puck, trying to clear. Konstantinov ran over a Hawk from behind before the puck got there, but it wound up sailing into the crowd anyway. The Wings trying to be even more aggressive here to start the second, but they still trail 2-0.
We expected the Red Wings to come out flying here in the second period. They've not been flying, but they've been playing a lot better in the early going than they did almost the entire first period. They've had a couple of quality chances.
Here's the draw. Chason's pass deflecting off the stick of Chelios and up into the crowd.
Chris Chelios has been brilliant in every game of the playoffs.
113 postseason games now for Chris Chelios, who is tied, as you see, for the playoff lead in the plus-minus. He and his partner Steve Smith. And I'll tell you, Mike Keenan reiterated again tonight before the game, if anybody can find a better defense pair in the NHL, he'd like to see him. These are two very formidable players, and they have lived up to that billing so far in the playoffs.
We talked about Smith and Chelios, but Kravchuk and Brown also have been an outstanding tandem for them. Well, primarily with 4 defensemen, then Marchman and Russell, since they've been utilized and played, they've done the job as well. They've been sort of the swingmen, giving those top 4 guys a bit of a breather. Hawks seem to be very alert here in these next few minutes. The Red Wings seem to be taking some momentum away.
Here's Matteau racing back into the Red Wing zone. Got away from Chase on Larmer with them. Here's the center pass. Larmer, and a save by Chevelday. What a sprawling save, and a great one by the Red Wing netminder. Here's Larmer in the Red Wing zone. Bumped into the corner, but he held the puck. Larmer moves it up the boards. Keith Brown looking to hold it in. He did to Roenick. Into the near corner, and Matteau back to the line. It didn't get to Brown, then came to Larmer. With his back to the net, he dropped it to Kravchuk. A wrist shot and a blocker saved by Chevelday. Rebound to the wings, Yzerman. He couldn't get it out. Now picks it up with a second chance and feeds Racine. Racine was stopped at center. Here's Paluso racing back in against Chason. And they body up on the boards, and the Red Wings take over. Racine clearing it ahead. Miller tied up and knocked down by Chelios. And then Paluso up the left side. Yzerman tried to bump in. It was Yzerman that wound up on the deck. Paluso put it in behind the Red Wing net. Gilbert kicked it loose to Hudson, centering just away from Paluso. And now the Red Wings dump it back into the Hawk zone. And Lauer on the near side. His pass deflecting. Chelios scurries after it against Miller. And Smith alertly there to help out, leading Paluso. He sends Hudson to center with Lauer, who gets to it in the near corner. Brad Lauer and Nicholas Lidstrom back of the net. And McCrimmon came out of there with it to Bird. On Bird to Fedorov. Bouncing it ahead. Taken by Chelios back of the Hawk net. Ahead for Brent Sutter. Sending it into the Red Wing zone. Lemieux hustling, gets to it, but McCrimmon managed to take it away. Left wing to Keith Primo. A big Red Wing over the Hawk line trying to muscle in there. Keith Brown said no and rides him into the corner. Lemieux came up with it. Jocelyn Lemieux tied up Primo. Took it back and Kravchuk stepped into him. Now Sillinger. Mike Sillinger in the corner. Got help from Constantino. Shooting. Shot it wide. There's going to be a Hawk penalty. Marsh put it in behind the net. Sillinger rolled it loose to Marsh near side. His shot is blocked. The Wings able to keep possession. Now Graham picks it up. The whistle sounds in Detroit. They'll get their first power play chance of the game with 5 minutes gone in the second. 2-0 Hawks.
Brent Sutter gets the first Blackhawk penalty for holding, and it took 25 minutes and 1 second before Detroit gets their first power play. And Sutter goes against Sillinger. Good coverage by the Blackhawks. Smith has his man. It's a one-on-one situation, but the key here is that Sillinger went down, and Sutter had one arm draped around him with one hand on his stick.
1-4-11 the Red Wings on the power play so far in this series. There's the draw to Lidstrom. This one in behind the net. Kravchuk tied up by Probert. Taken out of there by Shepard. Walks in front of the net, shooting. Shot it upstairs. Now to the near point, Lidstrom. Now up the board. Shepard to Probert in the corner. Trying to center one. Picked off by Larmer. Clearing. Lidstrom had a 60-point regular season point total. He's got only 2 points so far in the playoffs, all told. Lidstrom, the deflects it ahead. A two-line pass to Probert, and the Red Wings are stopped.
So far, so good. Good penalty killing in the first 45 seconds. Well, Bob Probert can ill afford now to take a bad penalty after the first period. Now he's got to really buckle down and just stick to hockey and not get himself involved as far as the extracurricular stuff.
He certainly can be formidable enough just with the great size and strength that he has without punching people and using the stick. But he's gotten carried away a lot in this game and a couple of times earlier in the series. And the Red Wings have been hurt because of it. Now in the Detroit zone, the draw is controlled by the Wings. Racine to Yzerman. Back to Racine as Graham working well, forechecking. Finally Fedorov works his way to center. Mateau stopped him there to Graham over the line. He ran out of room. Chelios trying to waste a little time in his own end. And then Smith clears it down all the way.
Well, first Yzerman trying to stick handle standing still in his own zone. Then Fedorov tries to do it on his own. And both times the puck swept away by Mateau and Larmer.
Chelios back of the Hawks net. Looking to clear. Held in by Racine. Tied up on the boards. Miller put it in deep. Around to the near side. Yzerman. Yzerman hanging on. Back to the line with it. Into the corner. Miller tried to center. Fedorov couldn't get any wood on that. Now Racine overskates. A 2-on-1 for the Hawks. Noonan and Larmer against Chason. Noonan in. Shooting. Fired it wide. Trying for the short side. Fedorov the other way. Gets into the Hawk zone. Peels off on the boards. And it's taken away by Roenick. Getting help. Here's a lead for Larmer. He couldn't find the handle on it, or he might have been in shorthanded. And now the Hawk penalty is over. Both teams at full strength. Wonderful penalty killing by the Hawks, who have been doing that the entire postseason. And now also the regular season. They were second in the league in penalty killing. Here's Larmer. Dumping it in there. Kravchuk acted around the boards. Probert for Detroit. Got a hit from Roenick. Keith Brown keeping it in. Now Konstantinov moves it ahead to Jimmy Carson. Left wing to Probert. Bouncing loose into the corner. He and Keith Brown battle there. Now back of the net it comes free to Marsh. Brad Marsh rolls it back around the boards. Ray Shepard tied up by Mateau, but he couldn't get it out. Here's Kravchuk. Probert, it looked like had thoughts of running over Belfour again. They've had two confrontations in this series. And Probert thinking better of it that time, and now Probert has it at center ice.
Well, Probert got away with two in that shift. Should have been penalties.
Probert to the Hawk line, tied up, then it's carried out, a shot, they score! A backhand shot from Mike Sillinger through the legs of Ed Belfour, and the rookie Sillinger, the first pick of the Red Wings in '89, cuts the Hawk lead in half.
Well, Probert, at the end of a long physical shift, made the play. Sillinger at the line, loses it. Probert continues on. He was going to go off. He was exhausted, but he sees the puck, then loses it, goes through the feet of the defenseman, and then Sillinger's backhand shot, partially screened, Belfour was, by Russell, and the Red Wings cut the lead in half, and it's a 2-1 Blackhawk lead. 11:46 still to go.
Mike Sillinger was the 11th player picked in 1989. Had 25 goals in Adirondack this year. And he stuffs a backhander in from Probert and Konstantinov. And 8:14, Mike Sillinger's second career playoff goal. Now in the Hawk zone, Primo bangs into the corner. Steve Smith able to win the puck, however. Smith beating Lauer on the right side, and he cleared it to center ice. Well, there by Potvin, and he shot it into the bench area. Well, the whistle sounds with 11.5 minutes remaining in the three. The Hawks lead the Wings by a score of 2-1.
Well, Tim Cheveldae has done his job. He's like the middle relief pitcher. He kept his team in the game down 2-0. Hawks with a lot of quality chances. Now the Red Wings score, and it's a 2-1 game, and it should be a great finish.
Racine Ahead to Yzerman, beating Gallant on left wing. At his pocket picked by Chelios, but then it's held in by the wing. LaPointe kicks at it in the corner. Yzerman picked it up. Yzerman trying for Gallant. It didn't get there. Larmer the steal. Has Roenick busting. Feeds him. Roenick is in. Here's the shot. And a save by Chevelday. Tim Chevelday again shining in the Red Wing net. Yves Racine's pass stolen away to Smith. Now Chelios. Long feed to Larmer at center. Larmer gets the line, leaving from a toe. Trying the return pass, and Larmer didn't see it coming. Out to center ice. Yzerman with a bouncer, lost the handle. Larmer will throw it back in as the Hawks head for a change. Jason back for Detroit. Steve Chason nowhere to go with it, just pounds it off the glass and out. Rabchuk threw it back into the Red Wing zone. Here's Chason. His pass deflecting to the neutral area. Keith Brown shooting it back in there. Chason just fires it back the other way. The Wings needing a whistle to get some fresh legs out there, and they'll accept an icing call to get that whistle. And now we're halfway through the second period here tonight. The Hawks lead the Wings 2-1.
Expected the Red Wings to come out play better. They have played better. Chevelday with a couple of key saves. One on Larmer, and Roenick pulls it to his forehand this time and just shanked it wide. But Chevelday made a good move. He didn't commit. Fake. Didn't go quite for the fake, and then went from right to left and forced Roenick to make a perfect shot. In the process, the puck went on its edge, and he shot it wide.
Here's the draw to Steve Smith. Tees it up, shooting. Chevelday lunging to his left for all he was worth. And he was worth plenty for the Red Wings there. If that mitt was any shorter, that was would have been the third Hawk goal.
Fully extended to his left, doing the splits, getting the glove on it, just in the webbing on Steve Smith's shot. The Hawks won the draw cleanly. Better off tied up by Sutter. Went to Graham, who got it to Smith, who moved to the middle of the blue line, let it go about a knee high. Good glove save by Chevelday.
Now the draw. Sutter won another one to Smith. He'll try again. This one blocked by a sprawling Miller. And now Kevin Miller back into the Hawk zone. Put in behind the net. Brad Marsh in there deep. Marsh handed it loose along the boards. Graham able to take over for the Blackhawks. Now Chelios ahead to Sutter. Throws it in there. And Hughes hacked it around the boards. Graham poked it in behind the net, but Miller for the Red Wings able to feed Fedorov. Fedorov looking for Marsh, and Brad Marsh up on the play on this shift a lot, racing behind the Hawk net to save icing. But Chelios picks it up and clears it the other way. How often you see Brad Marsh venture that deep into the offensive zone, and he did it twice on that shift. Now the Wings, Probert, a two-line pass, draws a whistle.
Brad Marsh is known as a stay-at-home defenseman, but he hasn't played throughout the playoffs, and comes from behind twice in that shift, and he did it in the first period, trying to stir things up, trying to get these Red Wings into more of an aggressive mode as far as forechecking and putting pressure on the Blackhawks. And it's worked to a degree.
Brad Marsh sat out the last 5 playoff games for the Wings, the first 2 of this series, the last 3 in the Minnesota series. And he is utilizing those fresh legs to his advantage so far tonight. Here's the draw now, and Lindstrom bounced it over the Hawk line, winding up in the corner. Probert holds it in behind the net. Marchment got help from Russell. Up the far side, Probert holding it in. And Russell got it back, pushing it into the Red Wing zone. Probert up by Marchment at center. Noonan the other way for Gilbert over the line. Gilbert fanning on a pass attempt. Puck winds up in the near corner. And the Wings, Carson put it in behind the net. Taken by Lindstrom. Long feed up the middle. Carson couldn't hold up. He had split the Hawk defense. Russell and Marchment forgot about him. He would have been in, but he stepped over the red line and was offside. And the Hawks continue to own a 2-1 lead. With Dale Talon, Pat Foley in Chicago Stadium as the Blackhawks try to push the Red Wings to the brink. And Detroit with a much better second period than they had in the first, and they've battled their way back into the hunt here, trailing just 2-1. Here's Peluso with a big hit, jamming it loose in the offensive zone. And he shot it in behind the net, and Racine is there, then failed to get it by Brown. And then it finally did bounce over his stick, and it'll be an intentional offside here, ruled against the Blackhawks. Potvin and Peluso now having words, and Potvin had over 300 minutes in penalties in the American League this year. And words will be all there is at this point.
Two good hits on that shift, one by Lemieux and the other by Peluso. One by Lemieux behind the Red Wing net and the other in the corner. But Lemieux inadvertently touched the puck, forgot about that new ice or intentional icing or offside rule, I should say, and face-off goes deep in the Blackhawks zone.
Lemieux and Sillinger to the right of Belfour. And the draw taken by Smith. Steve Smith shooting it in. However, they put it around the board. Sillinger coughed it up in the corner. Peluso got help from Lemieux, trying to walk in front. Chase on Pope checked him. And Potvin pushed it out to center. Chelios hacks it back ahead. However, it sails up over the glass and into the crowd. Game 4 of this series 2 nights from now, right back here in the stadium. A 7 o'clock Hawk Vision start, 7:20 on WBBM. And that Friday night, back here on Stadium Ice. Here's the draw now. Chelios dumping it in. Konstantinov gave it away to Larmer at center, stepping over the line, lets it go. He had Chevrolet beaten, just missed the near post. Roenick holding it in, bouncing puck. Roenick for Larmer, the shot. Chevrolet, what a save! Rebound in behind the net. Brad Marsh is on it for Detroit, looking to clear, and Chelios held it in. Now Konstantinov. Konstantinov run over his centering pass, deflecting. And Gerard Godin starts the wings with a 3-on-2. Here's Yzerman over the line, weaving, shooting. Belfour stopped him. And the Hawks try to counterattack. Here comes Roenick for Larmer over the line. Larmer left it from a toe near side. Return pass deflects in behind the net. And now they wrestle in the corner. Konstantinov able to gather it in for Detroit. He feeds ahead LaPointe, a 2-line pass. And the whistle sounds. 6.5 to go in the second period. Hawks lead the Wings.
A great move from Jeremy Roenick. Gets the puck. 2-on-1 situation. Fakes. Brad Marsh goes down to make the shot block. Misses it. Over to Larmer, and a great kick save by Tim Chevrolet.
Here's the draw into the Chicago zone. And corralled by Brent Sutter. Clears it to the neutral area, and Sean Burr. There's going to be a Hawk penalty. Lemieux knocked McCrimmon flying. And as the Hawks control, the whistle sounds. And Detroit will get their second consecutive power play in this second period. Just under 6 minutes remaining in the second period. Detroit to the power play.
Threw a punch at him, and McCrimmon went flying to his backside. Good play by the veteran to force a penalty and a power play for his team in a much needed power play situation.
Lindstrom top of the ring, a long wrist shot hits Steve Smith in front of the net. Coming to the near corner, Shepard out of there with it, shooting, and a save by Bill. Rebound, they score! Ray Shepard picked up his own rebound, and chopped it in, and the Red Wings on the power play have tied up this game at a deuce.
Well, the rebound hit him. He shot the puck. The rebound came back out. It hit him and deflected into the net past Ed Belfour. Well, Shepard, who's had an excellent year, shot from the point by Lidstrom off Steve Smith. It goes to the corner. Steve Eisner gets in to tie up Smith. Picked up by Shepard. He shoots. Belfour makes the save. And Shepard just hacks at it, and it goes past Belfour and into the net, and it's 2-2. They talk about Chevelday's brilliant play, and all of a sudden, the Red Wings are right back in it. It's a brand new ball game.
Ray Shepard with his 5th playoff goal. Yzerman and Lidstrom get the assist at 14:29 on the Red Wing power play. And it's a 2-2 game, and it's back in the Hawk zone as Shepard looks to center, hits a leg right to the doorstep, and Belfour alertly down to smother it.
The Blackhawks are going to look back at this one if they don't win it, and look back at the 2-0 lead and the back-to-back 4-minute power plays and the quality chances they've had in this period, though they haven't had many. And they've had many chances to put the Red Wings away, but the Red Wings have caught them with 2 goals here in the second period. The Red Wings now will be rejuvenated, that's for sure.
Well, Mike Keenan and his players certainly expected nothing less. A bitter rival, the Red Wings, and they're coming off a 98-point season. Oh, they certainly were not going to go quietly, and they have clawed their way back into this game after trailing 2-0 and being badly outplayed in the first period. Detroit has gotten back to where the game started, all even. Here's Marshall on shot. Loved by Belfour. Clearing it out to center, and here comes Mateau. In over the line. Mateau with a shot deflected by Marsh. Harmlessly up into the crowd.
Stefan Mateau's had an excellent series, an excellent playoff. He's getting more confidence offensively.
Face-off here will be to the left of Chevelday. Tim Chevelday tonight appearing in his 17th ever postseason game and a record of 6 wins and 9 losses in the previous decisions he's had, and a very fine 2.8 career playoff goals against. And he has been sparkling, and in doing so has kept his team alive here in this game. Mike Peluso at center, looking for Lauer. Moving in on right wing on Lidstrom. Lidstrom wrapped him up. Back to the net it goes. And now comes loose to Roenick with a shot. Sailing wide. Chelios at the near point. Out looking to center. It hit the skate of Peluso. Back to Chelios. Works into the near circle. Cuts for the net. Shoots. And a save. Rebound. They score! Chris Chelios picked up his own rebound. A solo effort from the Hawk star. And Chelios with a backhander puts the Hawks in front 3-2.
Chelios' first attempt, he tried to go across ice from the point. It hit a skate that came right back to him. He took it up the near side. Peluso takes his point. Everyone backs off. No one goes to Chelios. 2 guys on one in front. They back off. And it's a rebound attempt for Chris Chelios. The rookie Lapointe just stood and watched. And then finally it was too late. Chevelday makes the save, and on the rebound, Chelios on the backhander. Give Brad Lauer a lot of credit for tying up 2 players in front of the Red Wing net.
So the Hawks jump back into the lead at 3-2, and here's Fedorov shooting it in. Brent Sutter looking to clear, did get it to center. Taken by Racine. Throws it back into Chicago territory. Smith around the boards for Graham. And the crowd coming back to life here in the stadium as they wrap up along the boards, and the puck is held long enough for a whistle. 4th playoff goal this year for Chris Chelios, and the native of this area getting saluted by the hometown fans as the announcement is made. Peluso and Roenick get the assist at 15:31.
assisted by Paluzzo and Rodick at 15.
Oh, you've said often that the backhander is a lost art. This guy's got a very good one. We're almost surprised if he had an extra half second, he would have switched hands and shot that one lefty.
Well, he doesn't have very much of a curve on his stick. Obviously, he doesn't use a lot of tape on the knob of the stick, and he's able to switch hands easier. It's not very many players have been able to do it. The only guy I've ever seen switch hands and take a slap shot from the blue line on the other hand is we can. The guy that mastered that was the great Gordie Howe.
Now Steve Larmer up the left wing boards into the Red Wing zone. Marsh stripped it away and clears it to the Hawk line. Kravchuk is on it. Heard it to center, his former defense partner Konstantinov. And we're going to have a penalty against the Wings. Here's Roenick over the line to Gilbert. Walking in, shooting. Shovelday stopped him. Rebound to Detroit. The whistle sounds, and now it's the Blackhawks that will head to the power play. And Konstantinov arguing with the
days. Even Steve Jason, his defense mate, agrees with the rating of his defense partner that he is a pretty good stick man and the type of player that agitates. Greg Gilbert was the victim of the cross check, and then he was able to pick it up as Jeremy Roenick got it. To Gilbert, the fake on Primo. The forward tries to block it, and Shovelday once again makes a good save on Greg Gilbert. Well, the Hawks have had many opportunities in this game to put Detroit away with the power play. They're 1 for 19 on the power play. They need to get it on track if they're going to win this series and win this game.
Here's the draw in the Red Wing zone. Smith at the line, holds it in nicely around the boards with it. Shovelday tries the near side. Larmer holds it in, out to the line, and Chelios moves it back to Larmer. Peluso's in front of the net. Here's Larmer looking for Roenick, didn't get there. Yzerman steals and clears to center. Hawks back in offside. Steve Smith also almost kept in a tough chance.
Yzerman with a good read there. He backed off, read the play, looked over his shoulder and saw that Roenick was open on the far side. Larmer faked the shot, tried to slip it through the box in the diagonal way to Roenick on the far side for the one-timer. Yzerman collapsed, picked it off on the back end. Good read.
Now it's Lauer who joins Larmer and Roenick for this Hawk power play, and Chelios. That's it to Roenick, shooting it in. Back of the net, Burr against Lauer. Lauer jammed it loose to Roenick, looking for Larmer. Out to the line, Chelios. Moves it across to Smith, a long flip shot, deflected to Larmer, he scores! The Red Wings got their shot blocked, but it went right to Steve Larmer. And then he pounded it up under the crossbar, 4-2 in favor of the Hawks.
Well, there is great evidence of why you don't have to slap at 100 miles an hour from the blue line. Steve Smith had a man on him on the quick pass from Chelios. Aggressive play by the top guy in the box, but Smith gets it from Chelios. Just flicks it towards the net. Much of a lob, gloved by Jason, right to Larmer, and he buries it. Shovelday had no chance. The key for the appointment: get it through first of all. Second of all, get it on target. Didn't have any time or room, so he flipped it to the net and hit Jason, and Steve Larmer finally gets a break as he's had 3 quality chances in this game. Finally gets a puck bouncing his way.
That's the 4th playoff goal for Larmer this year. His 41st career playoff goal in 94 games. And the Hawks answer the Red Wing power play goal with one of their own, and they've regained the 2-goal lead. Here they come again as Gilbert gets the line, but was poke checked. And Carson flipped it out to center. Probert in on Kravchuk. They wrap it up along the boards, and Sutter comes away with it to Dirk Graham. Captain Graham leading Kravchuk, safely clearing it to the Detroit line. Lidstrom looking for Shepard, and Keith Brown took it away, putting it back into the Red Wing zone. We have 2 minutes left now in period 2. Ray Shepard moves over the Hawk line, looking for Sillinger. It was at his feet. Chelios sends it into the corner. Smith pushing it around the boards. Marsh in there deep again. Kicked it behind the net. Taken though by Chelios. To Larmer. He's got room. Steve Larmer 3-on-3 to center ice. Crisscrossing to the line. Larmer against Marsh to the corner. Quick stop for Larmer, but his pass winds up in the neutral zone. And Smith had to throw it back in there deep. Marsh looking for Potvin, and Mark Potvin dumps it in. Marsh into the near corner again of the Hawk zone. Jammed it loose, but Roenick was there. Here's Smith. Clearing it out to center ice. We're into the final minute of the second period. Steve Smith for Chicago. Chipping it into the Detroit zone. Here's a giveaway to Peluso. Put it in behind Lemieux. He leaves it there for Hudson as the Hawks work the weave. Peluso trying to create a pick, but it didn't work, and now Constantino comes away for the Red Wings. On feed, picked off beautifully by Kravchuk. Quickly back to the line, shooting, and a save by Cheveldae. Half a minute left in the period. Potvin along the boards. Got a rough ride from Graham. And now they hit the deck and fell on top of the puck. And the whistle sounds.
Serpico, please go to gate 3.5 immediately. Ron Serpico,
Pick and weave. The old pick and weave.
Blackhawk goal.
Hank Ibo would be very happy with that.
Scored by number 28, Steve Larmer. Assistant number 5, Steve.
That's a very good play, though. That kills time. You're in the offensive zone. If you got no sure play into the slot to get a quality chance, keep it in front of you, keep it in the corner. You make a blind pass, you get caught at the end of a long shift, and you get a counter play by the opposition and a good scoring chance.
Now the Red Wings, Racine, put it to the near side. Burr scoops it out to center. Here's Fedorov, but he's going to run out of time as the second period comes to an end. And the Blackhawks will get another rousing ovation as they will begin to head downstairs. They had a 2-goal lead, lost it, then regained it. Backs it to the near side. Yzerman keeps it in. Shot it around the boards. Racine is open at the far point. His long slapper sailing wide. Here's Chason holding it in. His long wrist shot gloved by Belfour. He'll hold on to it.
That Belfour needs to be sharp here in the early going. The Red Wings are going to come out with everything that they have to try and get back into this game and get back into the series. They need to play brilliantly in this period if they have any thoughts of advancing in the playoffs. They're down 2 goals and down 2 games with less than 20 minutes to play. Hawks needed to finish strongly in the second period. In the 2-2 game, they did do that with 2 goals. Now they need to start this third period. They have to be very, very alert in their own zone.
There's the draw trickling back to center ice. I think that the Hawks have really gained a lot of mental encouragement from their most recent games when they had meager leads and made those leads stand up for long periods of time. They made a 1-goal lead stand up for the full third period in St. Louis in Game 5, or in the stadium in Game 5, and then here comes Yzerman around to check. He's in. Belfour! What a save! Rebound! Belfour stopped. Now they score. It trickled in on the rebound. I think the light is on. Van Helleman did not seem to be sure, but it is a goal. And the Red Wings had scored in the first minute of the third, and now they trail just 4-3.
Well, Steve Yzerman undresses the Blackhawk defenseman. That was one-on-one on Kravchuk, and Kravchuk misses puck, misses body. Great save by Belfour, who's fully extended to his right. And he just can't get back up in time as the puck quickly comes out front. Hits him and trickles in across the line. Yzerman stopped by Belfour, then goes to the corner behind the back, puts it out front. Hacked at by Gallant. Belfour sliding away, and the puck trickles in and off of him. And the Red Wings regain the momentum.
At the 51-second mark, Detroit strikes. It's a 4-3 Hawk lead. Now Lidstrom shoots it in there. Around to the near side. Bird jammed it loose, but Graham steals it. He was poke-checked at center. And now Brad McCrimmon is back in his own end for Detroit. Sergei Fedorov works his way to the Hawk line. Fedorov feathers one to Bird to the backhand. A one-hand shot and a save by Belfour. Rebound to the near side. Controlled by Gilbert. Away to Hudson. Mike Hudson over the line, trying to split the defense. A backhander sails just wide of the near post by a foot or so. And then the Red Wings able to work back to center where Lidstrom throws it in. And Kevin Miller is shaken up as he was knocked down when skidding over toward the Red Wing bench, and he's hobbling to the bench for Detroit. Now Shepard got it to Jimmy Carson. In over the Hawk line. Fires! He just missed the top corner with that. Carson, his own rebound, centered, and Shepard, he scores! Ray Shepard all alone in front of the net. 2 goals in the first 2 minutes of the third period. The Wings have caught the Hawks at 4.
Confusion, mass confusion this whole shift for the Blackhawks. They were all in front of the Red Wing bench. And Shepard made a great pass across. Carson let one rip. Karam's off the end boards. Belfour still looking for it. It took a funny hop and went right back to Carson, who got it up front to Shepard, and bang, it's in the net. That puck went to Carson, who was all alone in the corner, and slipped it to Shepard, and Shepard buries it. And it's again a 4-4 hockey game as the Red Wings battle back. We expected them to come flying. This is their whole series here in the third period, and they tie it up quickly.
A 36-goal regular season for Ray Shepard, and he's got 2 here tonight and 6 in the playoffs. And it's a whole new ball game again, tied at 4. Here comes Steve Larmer, sending Mateau over the line. Mateau with a wrist shot, missing the net. Here's Roenick chopping at it. That sails wide and winds up on the stick of Martin Lapointe. Lapointe into the Hawk zone. Drop pass missed Yzerman. Smith, a long feed to Larmer at center. And Ron Finn said he was ahead of the line, the checkered red line, before receiving the pass. And the offside whistle blows.
Shepard had a hat-trick in the Minnesota series, scored 4 goals. Now has a chance to duplicate that feat in this series with 2 goals in this game. 6 goals in 10 games for Shepard. Excellent acquisition by the Red Wings after the Rangers let him go. 2 brilliant years, his first 2 years, and had a pretty solid year last year with the Rangers, but let him go, and the Red Wings picked him up, and it paid off in a big way for them.
Here's the draw to Chason, whose shot is blocked. Lemieux comes racing to center, but his pass is broken up. Back into Chicago ice, and Kevin Miller right back out there after looking like he was shaken up on the last shift. He does not miss a shift, and the Hawks able to work back to center. Marchment pushing it in there. Chaskett himself gets to it behind the net, looking to center. It hits a leg. And Sean Burr for the Wings. Able to clear it to the Chicago line. Now Chason bumped by Lemieux, and back into the Detroit zone it goes. Racine up the middle to Fedorov, waiting for a little help. Miller trying to catch him. Miller gets over the Hawk line. Russell took him off the puck, and it's shot to the neutral area. Wings dump it in. Cam Russell back. Russell out to center for Gilbert. Rolls it ahead. Hudson kicked it to the stick. Centered one to Gilbert. He whiffed on the wrist attempt. Wrist shot attempt, and now Brad McCrimmon for the Wings. Looks for Shepard. And now Lidstrom dumping it in. On the near side, Shepard tied up by Hudson. Kravchuk came out of there with it. And then Noonan hits it into the Red Wing zone. There's Lidstrom. Or Shepard on right wing. Ray Shepard carries it over the Hawk line. Threw it in behind the net. Mike Peluso rolls it nicely to Brown. Left wing for Lowry. Kicks it to the stick. Gets the line. Shooting. Missed the net by a couple of feet. And it caroms all the way back to center ice. Brad McCrimmon gave it to Mike Sillinger. He scored the first goal for Detroit tonight. Sillinger over the line to Primo. Works his way to the far side. Left it for Marcia. Shot sailing wide. I'm not sure Belfour ever saw that. And now it's cleared back into the Detroit zone. Roenick flying after it, and Chevrolet will have to play it. Now Potvin failed to get it by Chelios. Back of the Red Wing net. Konstantinov just sends it back the other way. And it's on target, so Belfour has to stop it for Smith. And it's cleared to center. Brad Marsh flipping it back in. Steve Smith. Gave it to Roenick. He's poke check stolen by LaPointe with a backhander. Deflected toward the target. It was slowed down, and Belfour covered it after a giveaway by Roenick. And it's a nervous time for the Hawks at the 4-4 game.
They've never achieved that feat. 5 in a row this year and in 1983.
This is the 47th time the Hawks have been in the Stanley Cup playoffs, and they're hoping to get that record here tonight. The Red Wings will not go quietly. Here's Yzerman with a steal behind the net, trying to center one, just missing Gallant. And Stu Grimson in his first shift of the game hacked it to center. Here comes Graham. Graham over the line, faking now, shooting. Shot it wide of the far post. Back of the net, a steal by Brent Sutter. Then Racine got it back, then gave it away to Grimson. Grimson put it around the board. Graham to the near side against Racine. Then Grimson came up with it. His shot hit the side of the net, and it's corralled by the Red Wings. Gerard Gallant up the left wing board. Gallant lifting it into the Chicago end. Russell or Grimson rolling it to the neutral area. Now Cam Russell. Gave it to Brian Marchment, who's passed to Flex into Detroit Ice. Konstantinov, he's hit from behind hard by Hudson. He went down on the play. Now Marsh tied up on the boards. Van Helleman wrapped up among the players as they battle, and Brad Marsh is furious, I think, feeling that he was hauled down. Marsh screaming, but there will be no penalty here with 13 minutes to go in the third.
Played in playoff competition.
Now the draw, Mateau on the near side. To the backhand into the slot. His one-hand shot didn't get through. Mateau in the far circle with it. Unable to get away from Lidstrom. And now Burr. Give it to Fedorov, who turns at center. Sergei Fedorov throws it into the Hawk zone. Steve Larmer looks for Kravchuk. He got a rough ride from Miller. Roenick gathers it in and shot it to center ice. McCrimmon dumping it back in. Keith Brown holds it free along the board, stolen by Miller. Out to the line. McCrimmon had hopped over his stick into the neutral area. Red Wings dumping it in. Kravchuk carries it away. Now circling, and Kravchuk tried to feed Noonan. The pass behind him. Hudson racing, saves icing, knocked down behind the net, and the Wings able to clear it to center ice. Here comes Racine. Steps to the Hawk line. Racine in traffic, lost the hand of Russell, then lost to Probert, and a save by Belfour. Russell backpedaling, had the puck for a split second, could not control it fully, and Probert had a good scoring chance as a result. Belfour behind his own net, put it around the board. Shepard steals, centers. Carson couldn't get there, and the Hawks clear it to center ice. And it's a nervous sounding, sold out stadium crowd as the Red Wings twice tonight have come back from 2-goal deficits to catch the Hawks. Now we're at 4-4. Here's Lemieux trying to do something about it. Moves behind the Red Wing net. Wrapped up there. Lauer came up with it. Brad Lauer against Sillinger. Now they wrestle to the near side, held in by Marchment. His long shot. Cavalier stopped it to Probert. He'll take an icing call here as he fires at the length. And the whistle sounds with 11 minutes remaining in the third. Hawks lead the series 2-0 tonight. It's Chicago 4, Detroit 4. Belfour coming in the first 2 games of this series had stopped 97% of the shots against him. But tonight the Red Wings have 4 on 21 attempts, and here's the draw taken by Gallant. Deep in his own end. Gallant whipped it to center. Stu Grimson dumping it back into the Red Wing zone. Constantino up the left side to Gallant. Dumping it in there. Belfour out to play it. Hammers it off the boards. Not out. Yzerman, a long shot, and Chelios might have saved a goal. Belfour not gotten back to the net quite yet. Yzerman knew that and let it go in a hurry, and Chris Chelios made a big play in his own end. Back into the Red Wing zone. Constantino had trouble in the corner. Graham took it away. Leaving for Sutter. Brent Sutter against Yzerman. They battle in behind the net. Graham in there as well against Constantino. Puck rolls free. Chevrolet put it into the corner. Chelios in deep, but he overskates it. And now Chelios had it taken away by Yzerman to the near side and LaPointe. Martin LaPointe dumping it into the Hog zone, but he was short of center. And it'll be an icing violation against Detroit. We've reached the halfway point of the third period. It's Chicago 4 and Detroit 4. Pat Foley, Dale Talon, along with a sold-out throng in the stadium, where the Hawks are trying to push the Red Wings to the brink, but Detroit has come up with a great come-from-behind effort. A long shot from the draw, kicked away by Chevrolet, who continues to sparkle in the Red Wing net. And here we are halfway through the third. He's been hit for 4 goals, and still, it's an accurate statement to say he's been terrific tonight.
Kravchuk got all of that. The Blackhawks, Jeremy Roenick, who really has improved in winning faceoffs. He was very good in Game 6 that won the series against St. Louis. Kravchuk just rips it, gets it all, but Chevrolet kicks it. The puck went almost inside the Blackhawk line, and Belfour had to come out and play it.
And now behind the play, Keith Brown interfering with Sean Burr. Burr goes down. Keith Brown will go off. And Detroit will get a power play opportunity here. An interference call against Brown.
Blackhawks penalty number 4, Keith Brown.
Sean Burr is slow to get up, but Detroit heads to the power play. We're tied at 4.
Sean Burr gets clipped in the bridge of the nose, or on the bridge of the nose, by Keith Brown. Steve Larmer cuts in front of his own net on his forehand. Keith Brown's got his stick above the shoulder and swats at Burr. It's a good call, and Brown's lucky it's not a 5-minute penalty. Should be no argument. That definitely was a penalty. The Hawks getting a break here. That was an attempt by Brown to interfere, but he had a stick up over the shoulders and got Burr right in the nose. And this is a critical situation. The third power play of the night for the Red Wings. They have 1 power play goal and 2 chances.
Here's the draw taken by Smith, who clears it. Lidstrom gets help from Fedorov. Sergei Fedorov. His drop pass missing Yzerman. Roenick hounding him back into the Red Wing zone. And finally Fedorov comes up with it. Clearing it ahead. Broken up by Smith. Detroit has to regroup again. Fedorov works his way to the Hawk line. Smith stands him up nicely. Graham steals, bounced it loose to center. Oh, bouncing around there. Shepard got to it, then lost the handle to Chelios, and on the backhand he cleared it to center. Chason looking for Yzerman, too well covered, and then Chason got it again. And the Red Wings dump it in. Belfour wants to clear it himself. He does. Chason quickly ahead to Yzerman over the line. He has it at the near point, up the boards to Fedorov. Back to Yzerman. They play catch. Russell broke up the play, but he lost his stick now. Here's Yzerman trying to center it. Chelios picked it off. Clearing. Half a minute left on the Detroit power play. Now Larmer was forechecking, and Chevrolet trying to clear it. It deflected up into the seats, so no delay of game penalty against the Red Wing goaltender.
Well, great work the first minute and a half of this important situation. This could be the game. The Red Wings have never had the lead in this series, and the Hawks were able to kill off the remaining 30 seconds with the face-off deep in the Detroit zone. And look to Take a few chances offensively. Very few chances with a 4-4 hockey game late in the third. But they do have a little bit less pressure on them than the Red Wings.
Roenick and Carson get ready. And the draw is controlled by the Wings. Racine. Here comes Carson. Jimmy Carson put it over the line. Gallant threw it to the near point. Racine. Racine with a long wrist shot. Tip. Oh, good save by Belfour, and a Carson deflection. Rebound cleared. Back to the neutral area. Carson right back to the Hawk line. Weaving to the near side. Russell took it away. The Chicago penalty's over. Here's Racine keeping it into Probert. Probert into the near corner with help from Gallant. Now Probert and Russell bang into the corner boards, and the puck comes loose to Larmer. And with both teams back at full strength, Kravchuk works his way over the Red Wing line. And Crimmon wrapped him up in the corner. And Gallant chipped it just outside the line. Gilbert not quite able to get there to hold it in. We're down to 7 minutes remaining in a nervous third. Rolled it to center. Noonan shoots it back in. Konstantinov tries again. Around the board to Keith Primo. Failed to get it by Chelios. A long wrist shot and a save by Cheveldae. Rebound to Potvin, who bangs it back into Chicago territory. Chelios up the near side to Smith, whose pass is picked off. And the Wings move back in, but they were offside on the play, and the whistle sounds.
Sillinger, a rookie. Potvin, a rookie, out there in critical situations.
And now Sergei Fedorov jumps back over the boards for Detroit with Burr and Miller. Fedorov, after being over North America for a couple of years, his English has improved to the point that he agreed to do an interview with the Detroit TV people. And they were asking him about some of his hobbies. He said he likes golf a lot. He was asked, how do you hit it? He says, well, sometimes I hit it to the right. Sometimes I hit it to the left. Sometimes the balls stay with me. Now the play's in the Red Wing zone. And Leteau trying to shoot one. Cheveldae, that just hit him. Larmer creating a screen. Cheveldae still made the stop. And it's cleared back to the Hawk line. Steve Chason now for Detroit. On feed, Miller in there ahead of the play, and the whistle sounds.
If he has to pay green fees at the Moscow Country Club.
How many rubles is that? A wonderfully talented kid, though. Boy, he is really looked like he's going to have a bright future.
He's been brilliant his first 2 years, and he's as good defensively as he is offensively. But the Hawks have done a great job of shutting him down.
Now the draw. Mike Hudson along the far side, locked up along the boards. And it's hacked that Yzerman held it in. His pass deflecting to Graham. He cleared it to center. Wings flip it ahead, and Marchment got to it before Yzerman could, and then Gilbert sends it back into the Red Wing zone. Lidstrom banks it ahead to LaPointe. He has room to get the line. LaPointe a long shot right on, and a save by Belfour, and he holds it. And we're down to 5 minutes left in regulation time. The game is tied at
Sudden life or death. Sudden life for the Red Wings if they win. Sudden death if they lose. Edmonton has a 2-0 lead over Vancouver in the second period at the Northlands Coliseum. That series is split at 1 game apiece. Joe Murphy has scored the second Edmonton goal. And Chris Joseph has scored the other goal.
Face off to the left of Belfour. 1 to Konstantinov. Shooting. Belfour stopped it. Rebound taken by Jocelyn Lemieux. Lemieux flipped it into the Red Wing zone. Graham on the far side. Shot it into the near corner. Hudson. Hacks had it, then Kravchuk is shot. They score! Dirk Graham tipped it in! Kravchuk, a long shot, was tipped in by the Hawk captain. Has to startle Tim Shovelday. And with just under 5 minutes left in the third, the Hawks are back in front 5-4.
Well, Kravchuk makes up for that big blunder early in the period when Yzerman undressed him, which resulted in the third Detroit goal. But Mike Hudson's determined effort, he fought off 2 Red Wing players, enabling Kravchuk to sneak in behind him and crank it up along the ice. Dirk Graham snuck in behind everyone and redirected it past a startled Tim Shovelday. Great reaction here by the Blackhawk bench. They're up and jubilation. Big goal. The Hawks with a 1-goal lead with just under 5 minutes remaining. The goal coming at 15-13. They'll give Hudson and Graham a lot of credit, and Lemieux as well.
Second goal of the night for the Chicago captain, the third of the playoffs. And Dirk Graham has staked the Blackhawks to the lead once again. Detroit has never been in front in this game. Now they've got to find at least one more goal, the Red Wings, in the next 4.5 minutes. And now the crowd back in it. Here in the Madison Street Madhouse. Brent Sutter, there's it to center. Taken by Racine, shooting it in. Sutter gets help from Gilbert. The 2 ex-Islanders combine to clear it to center. And then Chason shoots it back in. Sutter on it first. Long feed to Gilbert. One-on-one with Chason. God trying to get around him and nothing doing. Chason broke it up. And it's dumped back into the Chicago zone. Steve Smith hoisting it into the center ice area. Now Miller. Got help from McCrimmon. He'll flip it ahead, and Chelios quickly moves it back to center ice. Chelios to the Detroit line, ran out of room, and it's ruled to be an offside play anyway. And the crowd will rise and salute the announcement of Dirk Graham's second goal of the game. Kravchuk and Hudson get the assist at 15-13.
Dirk Graham, such a valuable player defensively, kills penalties. Did a great job killing a penalty when it was a 4-4 game, and then the Blackhawks come back and take the lead.
Ryan Noonan will clear it to center ice. Taken by Lidstrom to Yzerman. Steve Yzerman over the Hawk line. He ran out of time. Roenick got to him. Poked it away, and Smith will dump it in. 3 minutes left to go in the third. Here's Matteau in the far corner. He's wrapped up on the board. And Primo looks for Sillinger. Mike Sillinger to Steve Yzerman. He hoists it back into the Hawk zone. Chelios is on it. He moves it to Smith as the wings are changing, and Steve Smith easily dumps it into the Red Wing zone. Marsh up the boards. Probert couldn't find it, but Carson does, clearing to center, and Kravchuk will put it right back in. Constantino to Marsh. He's tied up by Brent Sutter, working hard into the corner. Marsh trying to poke it out of there. He did. Back to the Hawk line. And Keith Brown looking to clear it. And now it's ruled to be an offside play. The players had trouble hearing that whistle, I think. And finally, they do recognize the play has been stopped with 2 minutes left in the third.
I can't believe these difficulty hearing the whistle.
What?
Well, we've had a roller coaster ride here at the stadium. The anthem was as loud as I've ever heard it. Hawks came roaring out of the gate with a 2-0 lead. Then 2 quick goals by the Red Wings tied it up in the second. It was a nervous time for the fans. And then the Hawks came on and scored a couple of late goals to take a 2-goal lead. And then in the third period, 2 quick goals by the Red Wings. And then a power play opportunity for the Red Wings when it was 4-4. Brilliant penalty killing, not allowing a shot on goal. And then the Dirk Graham tip in of a Kravchuk shot after Mike Hudson outworked 2 Red Wing players. And the Blackhawks have regained the lead at 5-4 with 2:09 left in the third period. A long time remaining. This game is a long way from over. You've got Yzerman, Fedorov, and they're both out there now playing the wings with Burr at center to take the draw against Roenick.
There's the draw, shot back into the Detroit zone. It's Roenick, Graham, and Mateau out there for the Blackhawks. Sean Burr lost the handle in his own end. Chason covering up. Gave it to the Red Wing captain. Yzerman's pass held in by the Hawks. Now Racine has it. Lou Yzerman feathering it ahead. Fedorov gets to the Hawk line. He's surrounded. The Wings hold it into the near corner. Chelios puts it back up the near side. And then it's cleared by Mateau. Back into the Red Wing zone. It'll be an icing call against Chicago with 1:28 left. And how long will it be before Tim Chevalier heads to the Red Wing bench? Probably not very much longer.
I'd say about the next 20 seconds or so, depending on what happens. But the Hawks doing a great job since they've taken the lead of not sitting back and forechecking and reading the situation very well, not allowing the Red Wings to mount any kind of an attack.
And Brian Murray says now's the time with a face-off in the Hawk zone. Tim Chevalier comes off, and it'll be 6 swarming attackers for the Detroit team. Yzerman, Probert, Shepard, Fedorov, Chason, and Lidstrom on for Detroit.
Brilliant game for Tim Chevalier. Made so many quality saves to keep the Red Wings in it. They were down 2-0 and they were down 4-2. Now the Red Wings have a chance. Faceoffs are so important.
It's Sutter, Roenick, and Larmer for the Hawks, and who else but Smith and Chelios on defense. Here's the draw. Sutter got it to the corner. Smith kicks at it behind the net with help from Chelios. Up the near side, got a good hop to center, and the Wings will have to regroup there. And now it bounces up over the glass and into the crowd with 1:16 to go in regulation time. And the Red Wings furiously trying to mount some offense to get the equalizer, and they're desperately hoping to force extra time here. Hawks want to get the draw moved outside the line, but it's going to be inside the Chicago zone.
Fedorov is on the far side.
And now Roenick's going to come in on this draw against Yzerman. Probert pushing Larmer well before they even lined up for the draw. Now they try to get set.
There's a penalty. Slashing. Why is that not called? Larmer just keep going at him. Keep going at him. He'll do something.
Here's the draw now. Smith picks it up, clearing it ahead. The race is on. Chason has to hurry. Roenick hustling. Chason got there first. And the Red Wings now start away. Here's the rush, broken up by Sutter to Larmer. He clears it. We're into the final minute of the third period. Chason out to center. Fedorov feathers it ahead. Graham with a steal in his own end. And offside is the call. 48 seconds to go. Puck wound up being shot the other way into the open Red Wing goal, but it's still a 5-4 Chicago lead. Brian Murray trying to break a jinx in his personal coaching career. As we've mentioned a couple of times, he's never made it past the second round of the Stanley Cup playoff. And his Norris Division regular season champions are in dire straits here tonight. Faceoff will be in the neutral zone. And the draw dumped in behind the Hawk net. Chelios put it into the corner. Brent Sutter kicked it loose to Roenick. He had it stripped away. They hack away along the boards. Roenick wants a whistle. Red Wings trying to jam it out of there. Now Burr centered. Nobody home for Detroit in front of the net. Larmer able to clear it safely to center. We're under half a minute left. Wings dump it in. Chelios behind the net. Now reversing it to the near side. Here's Chiasson holding in, trying to center. Sutter picked it off. He clears it. There's 11 seconds to go. Lidstrom in his own end. Shot it to center. Broken up by Chelios. To Larmer. He shot it in.